Well guys, it's been a journey. About a full day of driving, 9.5 hours, 3 different states, all to see this. Good morning everyone, back with another episode of Stuff and Things. Today I'm coming to you guys from whatever this place is. I think it's Medora, North Dakota, something like that. And what am I doing here? Your guess is just as good as mine at this point. I've got everything in here all set up, ready to go. It's obviously just me now, so it's pretty easy to keep things organized and clean. So the real reason for me being up here in North Dakota is simply because I'm on a mission still to film a video in every single state. Now this is going to sound a little dramatic, but yesterday's drive was probably the most boring drive I've done around the entire country. I went from Denver, Colorado, straight up the border of Wyoming and Nebraska, and then Wyoming and South Dakota, and then of course Montana and North Dakota. And this place that I'm sitting in right now is actually way more scenic than the drive was yesterday. The only eventful thing that happened was I did get pulled over in the sat van. It went from 70 down to 30 in a tiny little town somewhere in Wyoming, and I got off with a warning, so I'm pretty lucky there. Now I have absolutely no idea where this video is going to take us. The sun supposedly came up about 30 minutes ago, but as you can see, there is no sun. Super cloudy, dreary, foggy. But I'm right next to the south unit of the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. It's kind of broken up into sections, so I'm just gonna go check this out, see if there is anything at all to see, hopefully some wildlife or something like that. And then we're gonna keep on continuing through the Dakotas, North Dakota, down to South Dakota, down to Nebraska, and then finally going back to Colorado because it's still wintertime, ski season, and I want to get back to skiing. So I'm inside of the national park now, and I'm not gonna lie, this place is kind of depressing. Given the weather, there's absolutely no one here. All of the roads are icy, so the van is like losing traction trying to get up and down all of these hills. This place right here though is called Prairie Dog Town. Prairie Dog Town. They must all be sleeping still. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's not a single prairie dog out here. I guess that means we'll just have to keep on driving through the park. Alright guys, well this road going further into Theodore Roosevelt National Park is closed for some reason due to something. I can't read it, the sign's too small. I'm honestly not super upset about that. I know I drove all the way up here just to see it, but I think I've almost seen enough already. I'm gonna drive back here just a little bit closer to the entrance and see if there's another route around the park so I can see something, literally anything. Yeah, I'll just save my thoughts for later, I guess. Well guys, it's been a journey. About a full day of driving, 9.5 hours, 3 different states, all to see this. I mean, it's cool to look at, I guess, but when you've been to almost every other national park in the country, I'm sorry, North Dakota, just a little lackluster. Haven't seen a single bison, no wildlife really, other than like one deer. I think it's time to flip around and head to the next state. I spoke too soon. Yeah. Alright guys, after a quick morning of driving, it's now about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I am in Rapid City, South Dakota, just outside of Mount Rushmore. I hit the grocery store to pick up a few things for lunch. Got chips and a sandwich and some fruit. I got some sausage and jambalaya mix for dinner later tonight. I think I'm gonna end up staying in the Black Hills National Forest area. And I also bought a little cutting board for the van because I had a tiny one before and I don't even know where it went, but I'm always making food in here and this is something that I didn't have. I typically just cut up meats and vegetables and stuff on a paper plate, but this should be a little bit better. Now, unfortunately, the weather has not gotten better at all whatsoever. If anything, it's probably gotten worse. It's kind of like raining and snowing and everything's all icy. There's still a lot of fog and a lot of low-lying clouds, which means I might not see Mount Rushmore today. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to see it. If I don't see it because of the weather, then it is what it is. It's not that exciting anyway. So I'm gonna eat lunch real quick and we will head over to Mount Rushmore and see if it's visible. Well, let me tell you, this trip is just comical at this point. I drove out of Rapid City into the Black Hills about maybe half an hour up here to Mount Rushmore National Memorial, and this is what I saw. As expected, nothing. The lady at the front informed me that you couldn't see it, and I told her, I'll probably just turn around, and she was like, I'll let it slide. You can go and walk up to the little viewpoint if you want. So I've been here for a total of 2 minutes, and now I'm walking back to the van. Now it's only about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have about 2 hours of daylight, 2 hours of this to work with. So I was planning on staying in the Black Hills, but since the weather is the way that it is right now, again, I'm sorry to the Dakotas, but the weather is just not in my favor this weekend. So I think I'm gonna keep heading south into Nebraska. Kind of eerie up here. I do know of a few other things around this area to do, like I could go and visit Devil's Tower in Wyoming. I could also go a little bit east of here and visit the Badlands, but both of those places are places you go to see things, and when there's little to no visibility, I think this whole trip is just a waste. Alright guys, we made a little bit of progress. I'm now in yet again another new state for the Sat Van. I'm just outside of a small town called Alliance in Nebraska, and I found something on my way to where I'm going to be staying tonight. You know the video is sort of not going very well when this is the coolest thing that you can find. I mean, it is kind of cool though. This right here is Carhenge. So this entire place off the side of some random road in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, is a model of Stonehenge made out of cars. The sun has obviously set. It's about nighttime. It's about to get really dark out here. There's no one here. And there's just like a bunch of strange art made out of vehicles all over this place. So I guess today wasn't a complete waste. I can now say that I've been to Carhenge, which I'm sure is at the top of everyone's bucket list nowadays. Pretty cool little stop here in the middle of nowhere. Well, good morning once again, everyone. I am just about 20 minutes south of Carhenge, where we left off yesterday. And as you can probably hear with those passing trucks, I'm just off the side of the highway. I got in here last night around maybe 6:30, parked right here, made some dinner, and got to bed. The weather today is not looking much better, but again, it is what it is. Now, I thought this parking spot was going to be fine. It's just like a little roadside rest area. They have picnic tables, and it actually wasn't even marked with signs on the road. I just found it on a map. I didn't hear a single car come in here last night, although looking at these tracks here, it looks like a few people might have come through to use that dumpster behind me. However, these train tracks over here, there were trains running on these all night, and it was super loud. So I was awake for most of the night. Like, I think it was like every hour on the hour, a train would go by, and that wasn't pleasant, but it's still nice to be out here by myself, I guess. Sat van is looking a little dirty from the trip. I should really go back and spray this thing off before I park it again. The plan now is to start heading west once again. I got about 40 minutes and then I will be in the town of Bluff, Nebraska. Now at Bluff, there is a national monument there, just like Rushmore. Hopefully we'll be able to at least go in and see the bluffs, but we'll find out when we get there. This entire video, this entire trip has been a waste. Road closed due to icy condition. Trails are open, please watch your step. So I've made it all the way out here to Bluff. They're just like little bluffs in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. They just sort of pop out of the random cornfields and farms that they have around here. It's kind of neat. It reminds me of Monument Valley, but we're not going to be able to go inside and see anything now. So these are the views of the bluffs that we're going to get today. You can typically drive to the top, but the road's closed right now. And that's probably a good way to sum up this entire trip. Now, typically a video that goes in this direction, I would just completely scrap and save everyone the time of watching it. But I feel like it's also kind of important to show you guys that travel across the country, weather dependent and closure dependent, depending on what time you're going, this is just like the norm. So I've driven through 3 new states this weekend. Weather was miserable the entire time, couldn't see much in the places that were open, and when you can see some stuff in places like this, it looks fine, but the weather just isn't cooperating for the roads, so the Park Service closes everything down, which is a bummer. So I've given these states my best shot. At least I can say that I've been here and been to these national parks and monuments and stuff like that. I'm sorry for wasting your guys' time. But again, I think it's important to post all of the failures that happen when it comes to travel like this too. Maybe in the future I will come back through this area, although it was a brutal drive, a whole lot of nothing to see these little national parks and monuments. But I do have a few more states to go. When looking at my road trip map, all of the green are the states that I've been to and have filmed something in with the sat van. And then I have this corner up here. Midwest area, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, of course, Alaska and Hawaii. On my route over to Minnesota, there's a good chance that I'm going to pass through these states again, and I'm hoping there will be some cooler stuff on the eastern side of these states, because I don't want to have a bad impression of these states just because the drive sucks and there were closures and the weather was bad. I'm sure there's a lot of cool stuff to do here, but unfortunately couldn't do it this trip. So that's where I'm going to end today's video. Thank you guys for following along. Again, I apologize that this video sucked, but it is what it is. Now I have to figure out where I'm gonna go next. So if you want to see where I'm going and you want to stay tuned with my travel in real time, you can follow me over on Instagram. And if you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe because I make new videos every single week. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.